Is Hamwa Ajiman coming up in the bulletin. Traditional and alternative medicine facilities in Ashanti region shut down as part of a sweeping crackdown on illegal operators accused of putting public health at risk. Also in the bulletin, Parliament fails to reconsider the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, also known as Anti-LGBTQ Bill, despite assurances by the Speaker. And later this afternoon, we turn our attention to the hidden reality of modern slavery and the thousands of people still trapped in it. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin from Parliament. And the House has risen for recess, but the House failed to reconsider the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, also known as the Anti-LGBTQ+ Bill, despite assurances by the Speaker. At a visit to the Chief Imam, Speaker Gbagwin assured him there are fresh issues with 3 critical clauses, including concerns raised about the sentencing regime, which require a second look. Despite being advertised in the order paper, a motion to rescind the earlier passage for a second reconsideration never happened.
I took the opportunity to listen to your leaders, and they gave me a very thorough brief. And I want to take this opportunity to commend all of you for a good work done. I wasn't sure you could complete all the work that I read on the order paper. Yes, a few are left, particularly the order paper addendum. We have discussed that extensively, and we have come to the position that they should be considered in the next meeting. To be frank with you, I just had to listen to your leaders. I thought we could have had just a few minutes to do them, but they adduced some good reasons why we should defer them to the next meeting. Since decisions are taken by the House, I only guide you, and the reasons they gave persuaded me to accept. And so those items will be deferred to the next meeting. Honorable members, with this, I proceed to adjourn the House sine die. The House is accordingly adjourned.
Well, let's go to the Ashanti region because authorities have shut down about 30 traditional and alternative medicine facilities in the region as part of a sweeping crackdown on illegal operators accused of putting public health at risk. The Traditional and Alternative Medicine Practice Council says the exercise uncovered widespread violations, including unlicensed practitioners, undisplaced licenses, and unqualified persons treating patients.
What is meant to protect lives is now raising serious concerns. A major enforcement operation by the Traditional and Alternative Medicine Practice Council has uncovered widespread non-compliance among traditional and alternative medicine providers across the Ashanti region.
You visit those facilities, you realize that the practitioner is not on premise. The practitioner has failed to display the license, and the practitioner may have probably established different branches across the region, and he has actually contracted unqualified practitioners who are in there. And you have these practitioners doing consultation, which poses a very serious risk to public health. It's just like going into an orthodox facility and getting to know that the medical officer over there does not have the necessary qualifications to provide the services that you require, poses a very serious threat to public health and public safety.
The council inspected 55 facilities during the first phase of its operation, with 30 facilities ordered to shut for violating provisions of the Traditional and Alternative Medicine Practice Act. Under the law, every practitioner, every facility, and every practice must be duly licensed before offering services ranging from herbal medicine, massage therapy, chiropractic care, yoga, Ayurveda, naturopathy, and homeopathy. But inspectors say many operators are ignoring these legal requirements.
If you flout any of these rules, one, the council has the mandate to process you for court, and you would be made to serve a jail term not less than 2 years if you are found operating without the necessary certifications and qualifications. So if you know you are involved in any of these services that have listed, you kindly ensure you take the necessary steps to get your facility licensed, you get your practitioners in there licensed. If there's any support staff who helps in the provision of these services, you get them licensed as well.
Officials say the enforcement exercise is only the beginning, warning that more inspections will continue across the region in the coming weeks. The council is urging all providers to regularize their operations by obtaining the required license and certifications before inspectors return.
And private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu says he agrees with the key aspects of the Court of Appeal's decision to acquit and discharge former Microfinance and Small Loan Center CEO Sedina Tamaklu Ationu. However, he believes some allegations, especially those concerning the alleged receipt of 500,000 cedis in cash, still raise legal questions that may require further determination by the courts.
It depends on your philosophy as a lawyer or as a judge. You see, so there is some room for discretion. What he's saying, yes, Section 31 of the Courts Act and Section 406 of Act 30 are true, right? Mm-hmm. But in terms of deciding that this is a good case to apply them, would then depend on the outlook, the philosophy of the judge. Mm. So what I'm saying, that's what we mean by two lawyers never agreeing on one point. Mm-hmm. Yes, this one has a different view, the other one has another. So he has quoted his, that's Tia Ibua, meaning that that's how he would have dealt with it, mm-hmm. right? But he's not the judge. That's the unfortunate situation. Mm. So in the democracy, he's allowed to hold his opinion. Yes, because, you see, that's the way it is. So I cannot totally say that he's so wrong. No, he's coming from a different perspective, right? Mm-hmm. Which is in the law, right? But that's not the end. There are other people who see it differently. Now let's go straight into the case. I'm most interested in the 350 cars. And I said the moment I saw that
procured for GPRTU.
Yes, 350 cars. And
the charge was that they were inflated.
Perfect. So let's come this way. When the MPP administration took over, Ofori-Atta renegotiated the contract. If you knew that the contract is so terrible, it's so bad, the overinflation, etc., deal with it legally to abrogate. Right? Mm-hmm. Because you can show fraud, etc. Mm-hmm. Deal with it. But you chose to renegotiate. So after renegotiating, how do you come back and still saddle them with the consequences of that contract? It was renegotiated. That's what Ofori-Atta did. And the Egyptian company, so I understand, they were represented by... they were represented by, what do you call it, the Bedi Etuo's company, right? Yeah. So once it's been renegotiated, it's difficult. I don't understand why you still want to hold Sedinam responsible. If they were charging Ofori-Atta for it, then it would have been a different matter.
Meanwhile, the NPP's Director of Communications, Richard Ahiagba, has called for the discussion to move beyond personalities and instead focus on the broader national efforts to combat corruption.
So I asked the question that in this particular case, where we are nitpicking and looking for grounds to acquit an individual in that exercise where we are collectively in agreement that we want to deter people from abusing their offices, leveraging their offices for personal end. We are looking for nano micro basis to acquit an individual. It makes nonsense of the whole effort of fighting corruption. That, for me, is the conversation. Not about legal thing, legal that, legal this. Because as my brother Kwebu has demonstrated, in the law, you can always find basis to justify why you won't punish somebody. You can only find it, always find it. And in this occasion, it's been found. Notwithstanding the validation of the judgment by even the US authorities, which was the basis for the extradition. Notwithstanding that validation, because they looked at the case themselves and established and were satisfied that, yes, there's a case here, so therefore the person should go and answer for it. The Attorney General of this republic, while I see that to be a ruse, his points suggest that, yes, there's a basis for why that ruling or that judgment by the High Court should not be overturned.
He says he sees some merit in some of the charges. You said that's a ruse.
I don't know, I'm saying that.
He's filed a notice of appeal, stay of execution.
I don't disagree, but I'm just saying that it's a face-saving exercise.
The stay of execution?
Oh, yes, of course. Because if you are a government that campaigned that you are coming to fight corruption, and you have come into office, your first order of business was to file nolle prosequi and clear your people. On another occasion, one of your persons who have been jailed or convicted of a crime, you have found grounds to absolve the person from accountability. And you think that Ghanaians outraged about that? You think that the government would just sit back and say, well, I do what I do? This thing is political. We can see it. This government is on a path to set two standards in this country, whereupon some people are more equal and others are not.
And still on key points, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Ransford Jampo, has thrown his support behind proposals to extend Ghana's presidential term from 4 to 5, arguing that the current constitutional arrangement leaves government with little time to effectively implement their development agenda. Speaking on the key points on constitutional reforms, Professor Jampo said the realities of governance make it difficult for many administrations to deliver meaningful results within a single 4-year term.
I think the idea that it was introduced by those whose recommendation led to the preparation of the Constitution and that some people voted on it and lost, that's not, we don't live in the past. Okay, we are looking at the practical realities and exigencies of the time today. Now, forming a government, in my view, is not an easy task. Martin talks about the fact that you may have shadow people who may be given the chance to act before people are selected and vetted and all that. But you read Plato, governance of a developing country is too serious a business to be left into the hands of just anybody, shadow people. You have to vet, you have to be sure, and you truly want to fix things. You see that some of the things, they take a long time. You are trying to drum home a certain message of change, and people are used to doing things in a very bad, in a very wrong way, and that is what is ingrained in your psyche. If we want to govern and govern well, yes, we must be able to balance the two. It's not about staying too much in power, because like you said, if you get the wrong leader and then you give him a lot of time, then it means you are perpetuating, you are prolonging harm on yourself. But at the same time, if you get a good leader who needs some time to fix things, we should be able to also allow that. So in my view, choosing between J. Kufuor's proposal for 7 years and then the current proposal for 5 years, I think that 5 years would be good. It will not give leaders too much time, okay? But at the same time, it is not also too short.
Government has unveiled its position on sweeping proposals to reform the 1992 Constitution, backing a number of far-reaching recommendations made by the Constitutional Review Committee. In the following explainer, Evelyn Tegma highlights the key recommendations government support and what they could mean for the future of governance in Ghana.
One of the most significant recommendations relates to the tenure of the President and members of Parliament. Government supports reviewing the current 4-year term with proposals for extending both presidential and parliamentary terms to 5 years. The argument is that a longer term would allow governments more time to implement development programs while reducing the frequency and cost of elections. The position paper also recommends reviewing the constitutional age requirement for presidential candidates. While the current constitution requires a person to be at least 40 years old to contest the presidency, government supports reducing the minimum age to 35 years to encourage greater youth participation in national leadership. Another major proposal concerns Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives, MMDCEs. Government supports the election of MMDCEs by universal adult suffrage instead of their appointment by the President, and according to government, it is to deepen decentralization and increase accountability to local communities. The position paper also backs reforms for a clearer separation between the executive and Parliament. This includes reviewing the long-standing practice where a majority of ministers are appointed from among members of Parliament. The position paper further endorses placing a constitutional cap of 300 on members of Parliament, as well as a 10-year fixed tenure for the Chief Justice. It also agreed to allow Ghanaians with dual citizenship to hold a wider range of public offices in order to harness their expertise and experience. Government also accepted to separate the offices of Attorney General and Minister for Justice, which means the Attorney General will no longer be a Minister of State and will retain prosecutorial independence and constitutional status similar to a Supreme Court Justice. On local governance, government supports measures to strengthen metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies by giving them greater administrative and financial autonomy with the aim to improve service delivery and accelerate local development. The government also supports reforms to the Council of State to make it more effective and representative. While government has expressed support for many of these recommendations, not all will take immediate effect. Proposals requiring constitutional amendments must go through Parliament, while changes to entrenched provisions of the Constitution must be approved by Ghanaians through a national referendum before they can become law. If implemented, these reforms could represent some of the most significant changes to the country's constitutional and governance framework since the Fourth Republic began in 1993. Evelyn Tegma, TV3 News, Accra.
In other stories this afternoon, every year, thousands of people disappear into exploitative situations disguised as opportunity. Human trafficking continues to rob men, women, and children of their freedom, making it one of the world's most persistent human rights violations. As the world observes World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, attention is once again turning to the hidden reality of modern slavery and the thousands of people still trapped in it. Safwa Baine reports.
The promise is almost always the same: a well-paying job abroad, a better life, a chance to escape poverty. But for many, that promise ends in exploitation. Instead of opportunity, they find themselves stripped of their freedom, forced into labor, sexual exploitation, child marriage, or debt bondage. The Global Slavery Index has estimated 50 million people worldwide living in modern slavery, 28 million in forced labor, and another 22 million trapped in forced marriages. In Ghana, about 91,000 people are living under conditions of modern slavery. Behind every number is someone whose freedom has been taken away.
Usually, due to poverty, economic hardship, children can be vulnerable. The youth can be very vulnerable, and it's important for the parents to keep an eye on their children as they grow, especially as they grow into teenagers, because as their needs increase, there's a likelihood of them falling prey to traffickers. Parents need to keep a close eye on their children, try to provide for their needs if they have work, encourage them to work hard and maybe learn a trade so that they can work alongside their studies.
Unlike the slave trade of centuries ago, today's traffickers do not use chains, they use deception. Fake job offers shared on social media and online platforms lure victims with promises of lucrative employment overseas. By the time many realize they have been deceived, their passports have been seized, their movements restricted, and their lives placed under someone else's control. Children are also among the most vulnerable, often pushed into dangerous work on fishing lakes, farms, and mines because of poverty. Women and girls continue to bear the greatest burden.
It's difficult for individuals to distinguish between a fraudulent platform and a legitimate platform. So, these people who go onto these platforms are usually deceived, and that they accept jobs that are fake and end up being exploited when they arrive at their destination. So yes, through online platforms, also through some of these social media platforms as well, and also the fact that there are cultural influences. People talk about Sakawa. They glamorize these online scams, so it's almost like a good thing to deceive someone and exploit them for labor or sex and take money from them.
While Ghana has laws to criminalize human trafficking and other forms of modern slavery, advocates say enforcement, victim support, and public awareness must be strengthened if more lives are to be protected.
There should be more trafficking investigations, prosecutions. I think the anti-trafficking unit have limited resources. They need funding to carry out their work effectively. They need more resources to help the victims, maybe to provide shelters for them while their cases are being investigated and heard in court. More support, financial support for victims, when they come out of this situation of slavery. Support to rehouse them, rehabilitate them, get them to reintegrate into society. So the government can do more, and maybe more stringent penalties. At the moment, I think the minimum sentence is 5 years, but maybe can be even harsher than that. Education, sensitization, joint programs with the government agencies, various stakeholders coming together, organizing events. Like last year, we had this 10-year anniversary celebration where all the stakeholders came together, organizing workshops. Yes, all these programs help to educate people, and education is prevention.
Modern slavery may no longer wear the face of history, but the message is clear. Exploitation thrives in silence, and ending it begins with awareness, vigilance, and collective action. Safa Boyne, TV3 News, Accra.
And at 14, Agbeko, not his real name, should have been in the classroom. Instead, he was forced to abandon school and go fishing on the Volta Lake. Volta regional correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu sheds light on how Agbeko's rescue 2 years ago changed the course of his life.
Agbeko, not his real name, is one of 5 siblings born in a remote village in the Central Tong district. Long before he turned 7, his father passed away, leaving his upbringing to his maternal grandmother, a widow in her 70s. With time, Agbeko was sent to Yeji in the Pro East district of the Bono East region to live with a supposed grandfather. That move, however, abruptly ended his academic journey. All day, every week, he was made to go fishing on the Volta Lake from dawn to dusk, and sometimes through the darkest hours of the night, he sat on fishing boats.
I was not going to school. We are catching fish on the river with my grandpa. Sometimes we go in the day, sometimes we go in the night.
The children in Yeji, were you not seeing them go to school?
No. Some people will do paopa.
Which one is the Paupa?
When the Bantu come, they'll go and take sack and they'll give them money.
But Agbeko's story is not an isolated one. In fishing communities along the Volta Lake, children continue to be trafficked and forced into dangerous labor hidden from public view.
They go and they are used to dive into the deep depth of the river to disentangle nets. And in the process, some of them get injured or they die.
According to a 2025 data from Free the Slaves Ghana, an estimated 20,000 children are forced into hazardous fishing in communities along the Volta Lake.
They go through a lot of abuse from the hands of their boat masters. Some of them have been taken away from homes as far as when they were 2 years old and have lived with these boat masters who have abused them, used hard words on them, denied them access to education.
But for Agbeko, help came after many years on the lake through the GlobeServe Ministries International, which has dedicated itself to rescuing such children. He was set free.
We cannot sit aloof and just watch, for children to be trafficked, for children to be enslaved. We speak to the boat masters. These are the owners of the boats. These are the owners of the fishing industries that they have there. We bring them to a room like this that you have seen. And all we do is that we preach the gospel to them. During the course of that conferences is when somebody came up and said, well, he feel like what he's doing is not right. He would like to give out, the child.
2 years after his release, the now 14-year-old boy is back in school where he has rediscovered himself.
It was very difficult. We were very timid and antisocial. They were able to socialize and then mingle with their immediate colleagues. As time goes on, God being so good, they are now able to play with their colleagues, jokes, and then learn together.
I'm happy I am schooling now. When it's break, we go and eat. When it's break over, we get inside. Our teacher will teach us. When it's second break, we go and eat again. Me and my friend, we play. And when it's break over, we get in again. I am no longer catching fish again. In my future, I want to be a soldier or a police. So I will study hard.
Over the years, other organizations like the International Justice Mission and the International Organization for Migration have rescued or secured the release of children whose lives were endangered through trafficking. But as the world marks another International Day against trafficking in persons, stakeholders are calling for stronger action to end the crime once and for all. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
And metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies have been urged to tighten bylaws to punish offenders whose activities affect climate change. Speaking to journalists in Damongo, Minister of State in charge of climate change and sustainability, Seydou Isifu, stated that plans are far advanced to establish climate change and sustainability units in all metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. These units, he emphasized, will coordinate local climate action, support climate resilient development, improve environmental planning, and enhance community preparedness for the impacts of climate change. Let's engage my colleague Christopher Amakun, who earlier spoke with the minister. Christopher, we know that the conversation around climate change has become important, especially looking at its impact. Beyond the issues of bylaws, what else has the minister been saying?
Yes, so Grace, the minister has actually indicated that the ministry has begun stakeholder engagements across the country. So here in the northern parts of the country, the ministry has engaged stakeholders, especially the assemblies in the northern, Savannah, northeast, upper east, and upper west regions to, as it were, explain to them the need for them to, first of all, ensure that bylaws that seeks to protect the environment and also ensure that human activities that, as it were, are a threat to climate change issues, they refrain from it, and so for them to be able to ensure that the citizenry get an understanding of the impact of climate change on the daily lives of people. The minister has also been urging residents within the areas that they have visited to ensure that they collaborate and cooperate with the assembly should they roll out some of bylaws. Let's take a listen to what the minister has been saying.
Most of these assembly need bylaws. Okay? Most of these assembly need bylaws. In fact, today, in my conversation with the regional minister, was something that, we had a discussion on. The laws may not be sufficient enough because climate change, the impact of climate change varies from one locality, from one community to another. So assemblies are empowered to come out with bylaws that will be biting enough to get people to reframe or shape behaviors. So, and that is why we're meeting today, to give them that support, give them that technical know-how, to know that they have a role in coming out with bylaws that will help shape behavior. But the most important thing is to educate people. That is what I think we have to do.
The reason why I've directed the various municipal and district assemblies within Savannah region to tighten their bylaws. And in fact, I've set up a team of lawyers to liaise with the district assemblies to be able to consult for them and make those sanctions much more punitive. If we are able to achieve that, then anyone we arrest quickly will send the person to court and then the person will pay the fee. And spot fines would even be enacted so that they are punitive enough. And the produce, when arrested, will also be collected and disposed of at a certain way and pay a certain fee. If it is punitive that way, it will stop people from coming in and commercially cutting down our trees. The reality is that they are not harvesting dead wood. No, they are harvesting live trees. Some of the trees have got traditional, commercial, and medicinal values to which we are losing it. This is not good enough, and therefore we will stand strong on that. But we want the law to support us to be able to do exactly that. When we get the law so passed, then we can now mount the various roadblocks, and no traditional ruler can actually defy the order. No voluntary youth groups somewhere can say that they can take the law into their own hands. This will lead to proper enforcement.
Christopher, so how concerned are residents in the Savannah region where logging for commercial charcoal burning is rampant?
You remember that somewhere 2019, the Savannah Regional House of Chiefs and the Regional Coordinating Council placed a ban on commercial charcoal burning activities in the Savannah region. Since then, the ban has not been able to be enforced. And so if you go to the Savannah region, you see that majority of the people living around that area depend on commercial charcoal business. And for that matter, that is their source of livelihood. The residents are not too happy about that because for them, they know the impact it is having on the environment, which also goes a long way to contribute to climate change issues. And so they are looking at how government can bring some livelihood alternatives so that the people who deal in this charcoal business can switch from their business to other livelihood opportunities so that they will be able to refrain from this commercial charcoal business. Beyond that, they are also talking about the fact that people who come into the area to log for
Well, that was a conversation with my colleague Christopher Mwako from the Savannah region. This is Weekend Central on TV3. We have more after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Weekend Central on TV3. Let's now go to the University of Mines and Technology, Tarkwa, where the future of mining is gradually being built. With $2 million in new AI and robotics labs, students are coding drones, building rescue bots, and prototyping Ghana-made mining solutions. Rama Smith has a story.
The future is being built at UMAT. It is not being imagined. It is being welded, coded, and flown. Just months ago, Anglo Gold Ashanti dropped $750,000 for a smart systems center on this campus. High-performance computers, robotics labs, AI software, the works. And right next door, the Ghana Chamber of Mines is putting up a $1.2 million AI hub, 3 stories of cutting-edge lab space. But the real magic, the student. Inside these walls, they are building rescue boats, drilling rigs, and ore haulers. During a pilot run, they pieced together 2 fully functional drones using locally sourced materials. Another group even prototyped a sanitary pad vending machine. The message is clear. Ghana can build world-class mining solutions. No import permit required.
Currently, what we have here is have a system that allows us to be able to build robotics, build engineering equipment, which help us in what we call digital tools, which helps us to be able to assess infrastructure which are very difficult to do by human beings.
President Mahama's 5-point reform plan pushes digitalization and automation. This center, it hits every single point.
We do so with full confidence that the next generation of global mining technology will not simply be imported into Ghana. It will be conceived, designed, and built right here in Tarkwa. This center has the potential to transport innovations and technology beyond the borders of Ghana.
But it's not just the miners cheering. The Minerals Commission sees a game changer for enforcement. Western Regional Manager Francis Annobel Jr. says this tech gives them eyes and data like never before.
The integration of smart systems into mining operations is essential to improving productivity, enhancing operational efficiency, reducing costs, and minimizing environmental impacts.
Academia, industry, and regulation finally pulling in the same direction. But ask the student and they will tell you this is not about policy papers. It is about their hands on the joysticks, their code in the machines, and their names on the innovations.
I see this lab to be very good in the sense that it would give students a hands-on experience, thereby eliminating the theory-based teaching and giving them a practical experience.
So working on it will give you hands-on skills in working with other fields in robotics.
From this campus to the global stage, Ghana is not just digging deeper, it is thinking bigger. Robot by robot, student by student. Rama Smith, TV3 News, Tarkwa.
And talking about education, the acting chief executive of the Millennium Development Authority, MEDA, Alexander Kofi Mensah-Mould, has challenged universities across Africa to move beyond producing graduates and instead cultivate nation builders equipped to solve real societal challenges. He proposed that every graduate should leave university with 5 critical capabilities: critical thinking, execution, value creation, collaboration, and strong character. Concerns arise over the quality of students produced by various educational facilities and the gap between the demand on the job market. The acting MEDA CEO cited best practices from Singapore, South Korea, Finland, urging African government and educational institutions to focus on developing human capital capable of transforming ideas into measurable results.
Young people are not merely the leaders of tomorrow. They are indispensable partners in building today. The future is not built tomorrow. It is built today in classrooms, in laboratories, in workshops, in small businesses, in communities, in families, and in universities.
He also urged the next generation to reject mediocrity, entitlement, and blame, and instead embrace responsibility, integrity, and disciplined execution.
If I were to design an education for the 21st century, I would ask every university to develop 5 capabilities in every graduate. Not only knowledge, capability. First, I would ask the capability to think critically, to distinguish evidence from opinion, to ask better questions, to solve problems, and to think outside the box. Second, the capability to execute. Third, the capability to create value, to innovate, to improve processes, to identify opportunities where others see obstacles.
He made the remarks while delivering a keynote address at the University of Education Winnipeg seminar on conflict and nation building on the theme, the role of youth as partners for growth and development in Africa. You're also watching Weekend Central on TV3. Let's do some more stories now. The 6 municipal and district assemblies in the Northeast region have successfully concluded a series of district accountability reforms, bringing together traditional leaders, government officials, and citizens to discuss the progress and future of local development. Led by the Northeast Regional Minister Ibrahim Tia, these meetings served as a platform to showcase completed projects, outline future plans, and openly address the challenges facing the region's growth. The assemblies highlighted various achievements ranging from new classroom blocks and health centers to improved roads, water, and sanitation facilities. However, there was a clear focus on the difficulties some of the assemblies face and materials and the urgent need to boost local revenue. Solomon Kwame Kanalue is our Northeast Regional Correspondent, and he joins us for more on this. Solomon, after attending these forums in all 6 districts, what would you say is the biggest challenge that every single assembly is currently struggling with when it comes to finishing their projects?
So thank you so much. So after being part of 6 districts in the region, which includes the Bunkurubu Napanduri, Yunyo, Nanswa district, Gambaga, Nalergo, Walewale districts. In fact, the major challenge has to do with the fact that the common fund is being delayed, and which is the major reason why most of the contract, the projects are also delayed. They also mentioned that due to some district-faced conflict, it has also become a challenge for them to do, in fact, what they are expected. And to most of the districts too, they actually need to raise strategic things to mobilize funds to be able to support the projects within their respective districts. And so one major thing they all emphasize on has to do with the fact that the common fund is being delayed, and also the disability fund, they say the 5% allocated is not enough, which is really not helping them to deliver as expected.
Solomon, we know that the Northeast Regional Minister was present at each of these meetings. What was the core message he shared with the leadership of these assemblies?
So in fact, the minister emphasized emphatically with communities that witness conflict. When you go to the Bunkurubu, Napanduri side, the Yunyo, Nanswa district, the minister made it clear to the people that if they continue to always raise their arms, then the district may not be able to witness the developmental agenda of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He also made the citizens understand that burden the district has to do with the collaborative way between everybody in the district. He made the people understand that they have to put projects where they need it and not just send projects because everybody wants to see the change. So he made it to the people that they are sending projects to where they know that this particular project is well needed and they deserve it. Let's listen to what the minister said to the people.
We are working together as a team. God were the days where DCs will just get up and see a community, and because the community is so nice to him or his laws are from that place, he can throw development projects there. That is the thing of the past. We give projects where they really deserve the projects. Before we took over, I was the acting district chief executive for all the 6 municipalities, and I went through all the projects that we inherited before we came into power. You go to communities and you see a health center, and just about half a kilometer, you see a chief's compound, which is completely needless and waste of state resources. Who will see a health center and will walk to a chief's compound? But there are other communities that deserve the chief's compounds much more better because the distance to the nearest health facility is about maybe 10, 15, 20 kilometers. So your guess is as good as ours. Subsequently, because of the collaboration that we have with the heads of institutions, next year, when we are going to present, we will ask the Director of Health, get up and point the projects that we have done collaboratively with you so that we will not talk because we are politicians. But the technocrats should speak to what we've been doing with them. And then we'll get to GES. GES, this is the list that you presented. These are the number of schools that you said that we should look at, we should put up, and we should put furniture.
That was the Northeast Regional Minister Ibrahim Tia. Earlier, we heard from my colleague also in the region, Solomon Kwame Kanaliwe. Time now for another break. We're back shortly.
From the shows of the body to the world stage, we're flipping the script, turning the page. Ghanaian magic, we've got the sauce, combining the logic, showing who's boss. Data and vision, we mix the design. The human touch makes the algorithm shine. In the studio, in the agency, oh, we're breaking the ceiling, we're standing tall. Listen to the sound of the digital drum. The future is here, look how far we've come. Man and machine, we moving as one. The rest for the gold has only begun. Pull up, rewind. It's the code, it's the craft. The 18th gong, we lead the past.
And also other parts of the country. Where I stand now is the Kaneshie First Light, one of the major spots that witnesses heavy flooding anytime it rains. Over here, we've seen youths coming from the youth ministry led by the minister himself, busy working here. And you see, it's been a very busy day seeing the minister himself trying to collect the sand and the debris that has been collected onto the major road here. And they've been here since 6 a.m. And also you see that of the CEO of the NYA also busy working. So that is the minister in short working, and also that of the CEO of the NYA doing their own thing here. But let's engage with him, because do we have to wait for every first Saturday of the month to do this? Let's talk to the minister, and I come to the NYA CEO. Honourable Minister, you are live on TV3.
Thank you.
So we've seen that you're very busy doing this. It's unusual seeing honourable men doing this, but we've seen you doing this. Tell us, is there any plan or is it a special day?
This is more honourable than any other thing we can find ourselves doing, exactly. The day it rained and Accra got flooded, the flood did not have respect for anybody who was honourable. And my saying have always been that you don't know where you find yourself when it starts raining. And so collectively we all have a responsibility of making sure our environments are very clean. The day I launched the National Youth Day, I also called for a campaign called Adopt a Drain for young people. Every young person must be responsible to make sure that the environment in which he finds him or herself is kept clean. If all of us collectively become a little bit more responsible, look at how we litter our environment, the kind of plastics we are using, and then if once in every month we decide that right in front of where we live or where we work, we are going to keep that environment neat by desilting the drains, making sure that no rubbish is put in places where it will cause us problems. It will help all of us. If you look clearly here, just behind you here, if you look just behind you here, you realize that the road has been constructed in such a way that anytime it rains, there is an outlet for where the water should flow through. But through actions of us, we've put sand, and that is what we've just cleared. We've put sand on it to block the outlet. So instead of the water going through the outlet, the water ends up sitting on the road. It costs you and I, the taxpayer, a lot of money to repair the roads back. It also leads to flooding, and it leads to you and I losing lives and property. These are things that we can avoid. We cannot stop the rains, but we can stop flooding. And collectively, we must all roll up our sleeves and put our shoulders to the wheel to make sure that our environments are kept clean, we desilt our drains. And to the young people of this country, the future is for us, they say. But I've always said the future is today, and the future is now. We cannot build a future in fields. We cannot build a future when anytime it rains, you panic. We can only build a future when we know that our environments are clean and we've done things right. And that is why I'm encouraging every young person in this country to be part of this active campaign. Adopt a drain, desilt a drain, and let's all work effectively to build for all of us the Ghana we want.
So that is him, Honourable Oparial, who's speaking to us there about the youth adopting a drain for themselves to ensure that our streets are clean. Let me talk to the CEO for the NYA, Osan Ayariga, also right here. I saw him pushing a wheelbarrow. Obviously, maybe he's not used to it, but today, we've seen, is this something you do all the time? Moving a wheelbarrow?
Oh yes, I clean my house all the time. We clean our surroundings all the time. So moving a wheelbarrow is nothing new. So, I mean, and as kids, we used to play with some toys that look like wheelbarrows. So pushing wheelbarrows around is no news, especially cleaning my nation, cleaning our country, making sure it's clean shouldn't be something new for us.
But the CEO for NY, you want to give some advice to the youth not to wait for first Saturdays of the month to do this thing?
Yes, we want to advocate to most of the youth to know that you are responsible for your own well-being and responsible for your surroundings. There's an extent to which government can clean, but if you do not clean your surroundings and there's any flood, it's obviously going to affect you and it will deal with you personally. So we're calling on all youth, which we have seen so many youth engage in today's cleanup exercise, and want to encourage them not to go back to sleep after today's exercise. They should continue to clean their surroundings to avert or prevent any further catastrophe or flood that may happen anytime there are rains. We don't have to wait until there are floods and we start cleaning our surroundings. It should be the culture that young people should engage in cleaning. And as young people, we shouldn't wait for our elderly in society to clean our surroundings for us. We should clean it for our elderly to sit back and rest because they have served their country well.
Thanks so much. So that is the CEO for the NYA, Honorable Osan Ayariga, speaking to us that don't wait for the rains to come in before you decide to clean. Well, so I've seen also other people here. I've seen out of the MCE for Ablekuma Central, also speaking to us, also busy working here. And it has been a day of national sanitation. I'm also told that elsewhere in the capital city, not far from us, Agbogbloshie, where we did a report that they did not really take part in the last national sanitation exercise. Today, they are heavily on it, as led by the MC for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. They are also busy cleaning that market over there. Earlier, we were in Ablekuma West, Ablekuma North, and Odododio also, where exercise is equally happening. But let me also add that aside where we are now, that you see a lot of youths partaking in this exercise, it appears the youths are not really up to the task, helping clean the drains. But as said by the CEO for the NYA, as the youths, we have to be up and doing and help clean our drains and not wait for the elderly to come before we pretend that we are doing this. We are going to keep our eye on this and move from other places and bring up to speed and see how this National Sanitation Day is going. Joseph Armstrong, Gold Alibwe TV3.
And here in the studio, I am Grace Hamwajiman. That's it for the bulletin. Thank you for joining us. The call is that you see that drain at the frontage of your house. Try and adopt it. Good afternoon.